So if you don't know the advertising ROI that you're getting from what you're running, you're going to be spending and wasting a lot of money. You're going to be spending and wasting thousands of dollars, and you're probably not going to be reaching the type of people that you really want to reach. There's been so many years, especially when I first started, and I was guilty like the rest of us, like, yo, my ad, this is me. I'm going to run boosted posts. And these boosted posts is going to give me everything that I need. It's going to give my business exposure. People are going to love these. They're going to love this post. They're going to go crazy over it. I'm going to get so many leads. I'm going to make a ton of money. I'm going to get a ton of clients. And a lot of times we are, you might be interested in running paid advertising. And if you ever ran, like, let's say like a Facebook ads, or, maybe even YouTube ads, if you ever ran advertising, but you don't really understand the numbers, you haven't taken the time to understand it, get consulting on it, learn it, or, if you're working with an agency, like any clients that I'm working with, I'm also teaching them, like, I'm different because I come from the coaching world, right? So most of these advertising agencies, they'll basically just do the work for you. But because I come from the expert world, because I come from the coaching world, now that we're also doing the Facebook advertising and we're doing, YouTube ads for our clients, I'm also teaching them and I'm training them too, right? We're not just providing reports, but we're also teaching and training you what you should be looking for, how to know when you even have a positive ROI. All of those type of things is what we're focused on, what we're helping our clients achieve. So if you don't understand it, how are you gonna expect to get a positive return from it? How are you gonna know what the score is? That's like playing basketball and you going against another team and you scoring, but you don't know if you winning, right? You don't really know what you're looking for. You don't know, like, am I getting a positive ROI? Am I not? What's working, what's not. When you're not looking at the different elements, you don't know really what you're looking at. You can't really even tell if you're winning or you're losing. You just know I'm putting money in and I'm getting money out, but I really don't even know if what I'm spending is helping me get to a bigger and a better level in my business. And that is what we need to pay attention to. What's good, my people? Recharging your business session. Today, we focused on what does it really look like in terms of getting a positive ROI. Like, how do you really know if you're getting a positive ROI on your paid advertising? I know so many people, so many businesses that they're in a place right now where you might be successful already. You might already have an online or organic presence, but now you like, I want to take it to the next level, because maybe you've been doing maybe you've just been hustling. I come across a lot of our clients where there'll be people who maybe they're not even online, they're offline, right? So they're doing a lot of offline things, like they're doing networking events. They're going to conferences. They're going to, the seminars. They're meeting people in different meet and greets and things of that nature, which is dope. I mean, it is a way to basically get your business out there, get your name out there. You might even be able to get some footage of you doing all of that. But the challenge is, if you're not also leveraging online in a way where you can get massive exposure, then you're literally cutting off like a leg to your business. And if you know anything about business, you don't want to rely on any one method, any one stream of revenue, any one way to get exposure, because if something happens and you can't, i.e. pandemic, i.e., it's not that prevalent on, in the U.S., but, people that got earthquakes happening around the world, Cali, remember a couple years ago, they was going through all these forest fires. They pretty much go through them every year, right? I mean, just a lot of different things happening, within the world. And if you're not in a place where you can't physically, or maybe you physically get sick or you physically get ill and you can't get in front of your people, you can't get in front of your ideal clients to get exposure, then guess what? You're dead in the water if you're not already right now building up momentum and getting a lot of leads and exposure organically. What are you going to do? Because online, you really have two ways, right? You have two ways to gain exposure. You have organic and you have paid advertising. That's it. If you're not killing it in organic and you want to get fast results, when I talk to my clients, and even if the thing is, you could be already successful offline, but if Now you're coming online and you say, all right, Terrell, I'm right now. My goal is I'm establishing my online presence. I'm establishing my brand. I want to be able to get this out to more of my ideal clients. But then you're in a place where you don't have the time, the energy, the effort to really be consistent and go all in. I mean, they say they recommend minimum, and this is minimum. They recommend you should at least be posting 3 to 5 times a day. Are you doing that? They recommend and they say, well, are you on all major platforms? How many platforms are you on? How many platforms are you consistently posting on? Right? I can tell you, I do, I'm at a place now where I'm posting on all platforms, but when I started, I wasn't on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. What am I missing? YouTube. I wasn't on everything. So when I started with 1 or 2 platforms, because organically it could be a lot. And then you telling me I got to post 5 times a day on every single platform. It's a lot. So what I recommend a lot of my clients do if they don't have the time or the energy to be able to post that consistently on that many platforms is just run paid advertising, just run paid ads, right? So that's the whole goal of it. But even if they don't have time to do it, but they say, hey, Terrell, I'm interested, then at that point, now we have to have a conversation about what it looks like in order to get a positive ROI from your paid advertising. Does that make sense? Now we got to have that conversation. So what does that really look like? So that's really what we're going to be focused on today. So if you're excited, go ahead and put excited below. Give this some like, give this some love. I see y'all on here, my IG family. What's popping? Good to see you. Progress Junkies in the building. Angie, good to see you. William, legendary. Davisha's in the building. Good to see you. It's been a minute, Davisha. Good to see you. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Everybody's in here. Let's go. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right, and shout out to everybody who may also be watching a replay of this at some point. Because we usually post these. So by the way, if this is your first time here, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat if you've joined me live at some point before. If this is your first time, these sessions that we do is called Recharging Your Business. We do this every single day, Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ever want to get a jump start to your business, or what we call recharging your business, then make sure that you tune in. Tune in, learn, take some notes if you can. Actually, you can share this out if you can, and share it to folks who really need to level up. You know what I mean? So let's do it. Shout out to Lance in the building, checking out our lives, man, and learning and getting training and all of that good stuff. All right. So, all right, let's get it. So getting a positive ROI on your ads. So first of all, when you're running ads, right? In order to know if you're even getting a positive ROI, you have to look at the metrics and the numbers. Now, I know it's not sexy. We got some people here like, yo, my eyes glaze over. How many people you know that says, I don't like math, I don't know math, I'm not good at math, right? But the biggest thing is it could be something as simple as a Google spreadsheet. We use a Google spreadsheet. A Google spreadsheet that really tells us we have it broken out in every day of the month. And then we also, and by the way, if we do work together, I'll provide you all of this so you don't have to create it. But if you're not a client, then you're going to have to create it because you got to track. If you don't track it, if you're not tracking your metrics, you can't track your money. That's something you need to write down. I'll put that in the chat. If you're not tracking your metrics, you're not tracking your money. Right? So we're looking at, so there's a couple categories. You want to look at, one, obviously, how much are you spending per day? You want to look at your clicks. How many clicks did you get? You want to look at how many impressions. Your impressions are, and this specifically right now, I mean, it's pretty much the same for YouTube and Facebook, but I'm really leaning towards Facebook just in terms of some of the terminology. You really want to focus. Your impressions are how many people have seen your ad, but not necessarily individuals. Does that make sense? So you can have, let's say if I got 1 million impressions, 1 million impressions may not necessarily mean that you had 1 million unique users see your posts. There's a difference between reach and impressions. Reach is, I might have seen your post 3 times. So then that'll be against the, now if I said I reached 1 million people, then 1 million people that's reached is you 1 million different individuals, 1 million different people saw your ad, your Facebook ad. Now that's dope because now you just increase your brand exposure, right? So we want to know, okay, well, how many people did this reach? Because that's also branding. But impressions is important too, because that's also branding. It'll tell you how many people have seen your ads over and over and over, right? Repetitively. They'll tell you that. So and then also when you look at your reach versus your impressions, that'll also tell you, right? If you got a million, or let me make the numbers more realistic, especially if you're just getting started, right? So like, let's say if you got 10,000 people who that it reached, but you got 5,000, but you got 20,000 impressions, then you could be rest assured, like, okay, I know that there's people who are seeing my ads more than once, throughout the day or whatever the case is, right? So you want to look at that. And then obviously you want to have a column that looks for leads. You need to be able to have it set up to where you obviously know the leads that you're bringing in. So you can be able to calculate that. And then also if you make any sales, you can include that as optional in terms of like, okay, well, how many leads did I get into how many sales? That will allow you to look at certain things like CPL. CPL is your cost per lead. This is, by the way, this is the metrics. We're talking the metrics, so you know if you're getting a positive ROI on your money, right? So then you got your cost per lead, and then you can also have an optional column that says your cost per sale. Now, while all of these, and this is minimum, I would say to track for a day, minimum. Now, you know how much you're spending, all of that good stuff, right? And then you know your cost per sale. So you basically, you know how much, you know how much your cost per sale is, and then you could have like your total sales for the day. Now, I'm gonna tell you why this is gonna be important. So let's do common numbers, right? So usually when I work with folks, we start off with about $100 a day, right? Now, that doesn't have to be you. If you're doing your own business, you could do $10 a day, $20 a day, that's you. But usually I recommend my clients start off at about 100 a day. So now, let's say we're doing 100 a day, and you're looking at your numbers and you're saying, okay, I'm saying that I'm spending this $100 per day every day, and I'm spending 100 a day. And let's say you're making, let's say you get I'm not even going to say a sale a day, because most people aren't. I'm gonna make it realistic. Most people aren't making a sale a day. So like, let's say, unless you at a high level, you have a team, different things of that nature. But let's say you're making a sale out low numbers. Let's just say a sale a week, right? And let's say one of your sales, let's say you're in high ticket, and one of your sales is $2,000, right? So you're spending $100 a day, but you're making $2,000 a week. Let's just say that's your average sale. So what's the numbers? What's the math on that, right? This is a conversation about positive ROI. So what you're looking at now is, okay, I spent $700 a week, or I spent $700 this week, and I made $2,000 this week. All right, so I know some of us, we ain't good at math, but look, let's break it down for a second. If you spent $700 and you made $2,000, you have a positive ROI for the week. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, go ahead, put make sense below. So you have a positive ROI for the week. Now, if you watch some of like the posts that I put out, or if you hear me talk about some of the testimonials we get, I usually say, well, what is the multiple that you got? Or I'll say, what's the percentage ROI that you got? So if I say something like a 2x or 3x ROI, or if I say a 200 or 300% ROI, that's the same thing, right? So if you spend, let's just say 2x, right? So let's say you spent, and I'm just gonna give you easy numbers. You spent $100 and you made $200, right? Let's just say that. Then that means that you got a 2x ROI on your money. The amount of money that you spent for the ads, you got $200 back. That's a 2x ROI, or that's a 200% ROI, because it's double, right? 100% would be, I just basically doubled my 100% would basically mean that you basically broke even, right? If you got a 50% ROI, that means that you spent 100, but you made 150. Does that make sense? Right? 100% ROI would be So 50% ROI would mean that you spent 100 and you made 50, but you want 100% ROI, because that means that you basically you broke even. So minimum, I mean, you got a free lead, you broke even, But if you get a 200% ROI, that's like 2x, right? So hopefully that's not confusing. All right, now, so what that really looks like is if you look over a week and let's say you spent 700, but you made $2,000. Now let's multiply that. Let's just say approximately 4 weeks in a month, right? So now if you look at that over a month time period, what is that? That means that you spent 7, 14, 21, 28. That means you spent $2,800 on ads that month. And so how much money did you make though? $2,000, 4, 6, 8. That means you spent $2,800 and your ROI is $8,000. So if you spent 28 and your ROI is $8,000, what percentage of increase is that? Now I got to do the math on it, but I can tell you minimum you at least, you damn near almost triple the amount. So you almost have a 3x ROI or a 300% ROI. If that makes sense, go ahead and put makes sense below. Right? Now, the most important part about this whole thing is you really need to focus on like tracking and sustain discipline. Whether it's you, this is why you might want to hire an agency. This is why you want to get and even if you're doing it yourself, you want to have a virtual assistant or somebody keeping up with this, because if you're not keeping up with it, you don't know what you're spending, you don't know what you're making, you don't know what to optimize, right? If there's certain ads that you're running right now and you're spending $100 a day, but you're spending the same amount. Let's say you're running 5 ads at the same time. You're spending $100 a day, and your ads you're putting $20 towards each ad, right? Because that adds up to $100. It's idiotic that you would spend the same amount of money on every single ad if you're not looking at the metrics and saying, damn, well, why am I spending the same amount of money on ad number 1 versus ad number 5? And when I say ad number 5, I'm really talking about you're testing like different creatives, right? It might be you're changing the videos, you're changing the imaging, whatever. Why am I spending the same amount of money on ad number 1 and 5 when ad number 1 is getting me way more impressions, way more clicks, is getting me, 50% more clicks or 5 times more clicks, 5 times more leads. I'm getting so much more. Why would I spend money here? You know what? Let me turn that off. Let me turn this ad. Okay, cool. Let me keep these 2 ads and let me spend more money on ad number 1 and spend more money on ad number 2. And at minimum, at least 50-50. Or if you got one that's dominating, why don't you just spend all the money on it. Just spend all the money on that ad, or majority of the money on the ad. I usually always test just to kind of see if I can always beat the control. But you want to spend the majority of the money that you have available to you, that you're spending on your ads, on the one that's working the most. And the biggest problem I see is because they're not tracking it. You don't know what's winning. You don't know what you're spending. You don't know what you're making. So people get frustrated, and they end up, usually when you're not doing that, you're usually losing money. And when you're losing money, you'll feel it, or you'll just be like, damn, I feel like I'm spending money on these ads, but it's not working. And then you just turn it off. But you don't really even know if is it because you're just spending too much money on the wrong ad? Are you doing the wrong targeting? Like you can't really even make a decision because you're not paying attention to the metrics, which is directly affecting your ROI. Let's go. If you feel me, go ahead and put I feel me below. Put I understand below. Give me OMG below, and give this some like and give this some love, because these are things that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or a small business or a service, we got to be able to at least understand the strategy. And this is why I say what I teach and train, or what we do, we help you, but we also educate you. And we educate you on the fact that you need to know what to pay attention to, what numbers you need to pay attention to, and how to strategize when you're running these ads, because you can spend a lot of money. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like when you on it, ads are phenomenal because you can learn it, you can grow it, you can build it. I'm always testing. So every time you're always testing, you're always getting better. I'm always testing with my clients. So you'll get better over time, because if something doesn't work, you could just turn it off. You could just turn it off at the end of the day. right? You could turn something off after 2-3 days. If you're like, okay, I'm looking at the numbers. If you're tracking it, it's not making sense. Shut it off, right? And then you could turn it back on when you want to turn it back on. So that's the greatest part about it. Is like when you start running ads, you don't have to run ads forever. You can run it for a certain period of time, or maybe you like, yo, there's a promotion coming up. Black Friday is coming up. July 4th is coming up. Christmas is coming up. Whatever. You can have certain, our 10-year anniversary of our business is coming up. We want to run a birthday campaign for people who have birthdays coming up. You can run, you can run ads for anything. You can run ads for anything, and you can have a reason to have a promotion for anything. But the biggest thing is, if you're not tracking it, it's going to be hard for you to optimize it. So that's the biggest thing that you really want to pay attention to and focus on. Woo-wee! I hope y'all loving this. These are things that I've really just learned over the years, and things that I've learned with our clients. Like we had one of our clients recently who her first week she came in and, she made an investment in the ads. We started running her ads and within a week, within 7 days, her first 7 days, she got 1,000% ROI or 10x ROI, meaning when she put down her first week to run her ads, she got 10 times that investment her first 7 days. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that happens for everybody, but what I am going to say is as long as you're testing, as long as you understand your audience, right? So like if you come to me, for example, or you're running your own ads and you really understand your audience, you understand what they need, you understand their pain points, you understand these things, you can get an ROI much faster. If not, we'll just have to test longer. You know what I'm saying? And it might take you a few weeks, or I try to give folks the first month to really start getting results, but you got to pay attention to the numbers. You got to pay attention to the metrics to win. All right. So hope y'all excited. All right. So with that being said, give this some like, give this some love. And let me go to, I'm going to answer a couple questions, 1 or 2 questions if you have any, but let me give you some resources for the folks who are really like, this is my year to gain more exposure. Yeah, I got folks who know they've been watching trainings. They like, yo, Terrell, I've been seeing you talk about artificial intelligence. It's taking over. My brain is the attention from my brain is going to get flooded out, which is 100% true because more people are leaning on AI now for content, which means that more people are being consistent. And guess what? You want to know something crazy? You know what Zapier is? If you know what Zapier is, put me. If you don't know what Zapier, if you don't know what Zapier is, go ahead and put inform me below. So Zapier is a integration program. So basically it integrates different websites and software so you can basically automate things better. You know what's so crazy? That now that Zapier just came out like recently, they just came out with an integration that allows you to connect to AI platforms. Do you really know what that means? That means that literally you could write a program and they'll automatically, like, you don't even have to go to Instagram anymore, or Facebook. You could write a program, or you could just tell them, say, hey, I want you to post this Facebook post, and it'll automatically post it. You don't have to go to a platform. You don't have to go to like a buffer.com. You could say, post a blog post on my website. Post. You could say, post this video. You could post this video of me, or post a blog post about. You don't even got to write the blog post. Put up a Facebook post about. Post this picture of and create a description in whatever AI platform it is. And because of the integration with Instagram, or the integration with Facebook, or the integration with LinkedIn, and the integration, they made it 100 times easier to be consistent with posting content. That's a blessing, but that's a curse. It's a blessing because you can leverage that too, and it can help you. But at the same time, you got 100 other million people that's doing it. So what is that going to do for your brand? That's going to make it harder for you to be able to grow and be consistent. So how do you have an edge then? How do you stand out, Terrell? What do we need to do? How do I still make my brand known? How do I still get attention when literally I've been struggling to get attention? Now I'm struggling to get it, or I'm trying to figure out how to get more attention. Now I feel confident in what I have, or I might already be successful, but how do I get more attention now that the internet or these social media streets is going to get flooded with all of this content? Be willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. Way more people aren't willing to put the money down to invest in advertising. That's what you need to do. Start spending the money. Don't be afraid to spend the money on advertising. Don't be afraid to spend the money on getting your brand seen, getting your brand exposure. Because guess what? When you figure it out, I see a lot of people, you get into business and they love it, but after a certain time, or when folks get tired, or when they go through deaths in the family, or they have health issues, or they go through divorces, or they have kids, or something happens, their consistency out the window, right? Especially if you're doing a lot of organic right now and you're trying to get it going with organic or trying to stay consistent. I guarantee you haven't been always consistent with organic. I can guarantee it. But guess what? When you're running ads, I can guarantee you're always going to be consistent, because as long as you're paying Facebook, Facebook is going to keep showing your content. They'll do it when you're sleeping. They'll do it when you're awake. They'll do it when you're playing with the kids. They'll do it if you have a 9-to-5. They'll do it if you full-time in your business. If you talking to clients, they showing your ads to people, right? While you brushing your teeth, while you in the shower, they showing your ads. While you eating, they showing your ads. While you out to dinner with your significant other, they showing your ads. They showing your ads 24/7, 7 days a week, every single second. No, you cannot compete with paid advertising. They're showing it to a new person every single second. You will literally have to post every second to keep up with the amount of content, with the amount of times that they're showing it, and you'll still never keep up because you don't have it, because everybody in the world is not following you, right? There's over 2.9 billion active users on Facebook. So instantly you're gonna lose against the algorithm, because if the algorithm have followers, that's the amount of followers that the algorithm has. Let's just say that, versus the amount of followers that you have. What on Facebook? What, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000? I think don't they still cap you on Facebook with like 5,000 followers or something like that, right? So you know what I mean? And even if you have a big brand page, you might say, I have a professional page. Okay, congrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still not gonna beat the algorithm. You don't got 1 billion followers. You don't got 2 billion. You know what I'm saying? Probably don't have 500 million. So you're never gonna beat the algorithm. So why not? This is literally a situation where if you can't beat them, you gotta join them. You can't beat them, you gotta join them. And I'm telling you, when you join them and you do the Facebook ads and you're on the algorithm and you're following, you're basically playing the game. When you play the game, but not only you just playing the game just to say that I'm playing the game, but you playing the game and you paying attention to the game, and you know what parts to move in the game, and you know what levers to pull in the game, you're gonna win the game. Right? You know what's so crazy? I have a book right behind here. This is my office. I have a bookshelf. And on this bookshelf, there's a book. I'm looking at it right now. If y'all know, shout out to the late great Kobe Bryant. He has a book that's called The Mamba Mentality. If y'all didn't order that, go to like Amazon and buy it. It's phenomenal. It tells you like Kobe Bryant really just did a brain dump of his strategies on basketball, his approach to life, how he approaches business. Like, he literally, like, I'm so grateful that he has that he created this book of everything kind of like he knows. So he has a lot of basketball philosophies in there, like how he wins basketball games. You know what's so crazy? What I've learned is that the GOATs, the people who are the greatest at what they do, they're very detailed oriented. They pay attention to everything, and they really try to leverage everything at their disposal to be great. So one of the things that most people know, like, you know, Kobe Bryant, you know, just like phenomenal with, you know, just with shooting, you know, jump shots, fadeaways, free throws, you know, defense. People know that about Kobe. You know what people don't know about Kobe? And I'm a huge Kobe fan. Kobe is like my favorite player, right? But you know, one thing I didn't know until I read that book, I didn't realize how smart he is about how to work with the referees. I'm like, damn, I'm like, he on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You would think that, to be great and to win games is just like, you got to be great at you just got to be great at playing ball. My man know how to work with the referees. He knows what, like, he was giving an example of, like, there's a certain position on the floor where there's like a blind spot. So if he needs to like smack somebody's hand down, or if he needs to like do something real quick to kind of get loose, like there's certain blind spots that if the ref is in a certain blind spot that they can't see certain moves that he's doing. He was like, yeah, and I'm like, damn, I'm like, yo, this man playing chess. This man playing real chess right now, right? But I love it because he focuses every little detail in the game. I mean, about the game, like he focused on being a better leader on the team. He knows every single person. He mentioned also too in the book, and it's not an advertising of the book. I'm not getting paid affiliate commissions for this, but I just love the book. But there was another part inside of the book where he talked about his ability to when he was a good basketball player before, but what made him great was also knowing the team members. That's what makes you a great basketball player. Is like you could be great, I could shoot, I could be nice, but if you're not a leader, you're never gonna be a great basketball player because basketball is a team sport. So you got to be great at leading, right? So he realized, I got to be a great leader. I got to understand each personality of the person that's on my team. So why I'm mentioning all of this is because the people who are the greatest at what they do, they understand the details and they pay attention to everything. They don't just do it just to do it. So when you're running your paid advertisements, you got to realize that you got to be paying attention to these numbers. You got to be paying attention to these metrics because that's how you're going to make your money. Ooh, let's work. Let's get it. All right, love it. All right, so let me give y'all some resources. For the folks who really want to take this to the next level this year. So a couple things. So number one, if you're in a place where you're like, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to run these ads. If you do want to do it by yourself, or you can still want to work with us, but if you want a cheat sheet, like on what you need to pay attention to, what kind of metric categories and things of that nature you need to pay attention to, if you want a cheat sheet, then go ahead and put cheat sheet below, or shoot me a DM that says cheat sheet. And then what I'll do is I'll send you over a cheat sheet that's really gonna give you like a quick blueprint of what you need to do when it comes to running paid advertisements. All right, so that's gonna be one. So put cheat sheet below, shoot me a DM. Number two, if you want to meet me in person and you want to learn from me in person and you want to learn how to do marketing and promotion, so I got two of my friends that's coming out. Evan Carmichael, if y'all know him, y'all know he's a heavy hitter, 3.5 million subs online, world's number one YouTuber. He's going to come out for business and entrepreneurship. He's going to come out. He's flying out from Canada. He's going to bless our stage on the 25th of March. So if you want to buy a ticket, you got to hurry up because the price is going to double. So next week is the last week before the price doubles. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and go to, somebody put this in the chat for me, pcsbootcamp.com. pcsbootcamp.com. Somebody put that in the chat. And go ahead and get your ticket today. Second resource. Third resource, if you want one-on-one coaching and you're like, okay, I know about the advertising. Okay, this is something I want to get into, but maybe you're a little bit nervous and you're like, well, I don't have my program, or I feel like I need to get my website up or my content up, or it's something else. You like, I need the advertising, but there's something else you're also worried about. And you just like, and you just want one-on-one coaching to really get all of that organized and structured in your brain and actually start getting that going online, then go ahead and put coach me below or shoot me a DM that says coach me. So you can do that, and then we'll have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation. And then I'll give you also too, if you're in a place where it's like, yo, obviously right now I'm in a place where I do want to run advertisements, Facebook ads. I want to leverage my brand online. Then what I want you to do is, and you just want to give it to us to be able to run, then what you'll do is go ahead and put Facebook ads below or shoot me a DM that says Facebook ads. And then I'll put you on my calendar for next week where we can really talk about what you need, what you offer, what your product, like we'll have a full-blown conversation about what it looks like running your ads and where's the leverage going to be for you. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right. So shoot me a DM or put it below that says Facebook ads. All right. Y'all good? All right. Let's work. So go ahead and put down any questions you have. I'll answer the first one or two questions. By the way, I see y'all out here. I got my Facebook fam in the building. I see we got LinkedIn running, we got Facebook running, we got Twitter, we got YouTube. We streaming all platforms. We going hard. All right, so because we out here, and this is the time of year that y'all really need to pay attention to your brand. And I promise you, if you wait too long, you think you good, like, yo, this is not the right time. Let me wait until the summer. Let me wait. It's going to be too late. It's going to be very hard for you to catch up. I promise you it's going to be hard. But if you start get in the momentum now and you start putting these things into place now, you're gonna win. All right. So with that, questions? Any questions you guys have? Dennis is in the building. Good to see you. Rosie, what's good? Good to see you. Y'all out here. Y'all outside. I love it. All right. So, as y'all are adding questions, if any, but I'll leave y'all with this. The ROI of your business has a direct proportion on the amount of revenue you generate or the amount of revenue that you get from your paid advertising. You really want to be in a place where these Facebook ads can help you, but you got to get started, or you got to get somebody to do it for you, or you really got to lock in and you got to discipline yourself to make this happen. You know what I mean? We've been blessed enough to make, hundreds of thousands just specifically using Facebook ads, not referrals, not organic, not any, not me speaking on stage, none of that. Specifically using Facebook ads. And I had to learn it, you know what I mean? Which is why we do it for other companies now. But it's really your responsibility to figure this out, because if you don't do it, you're going to get left behind, right? That's like the businesses that before social media came, they were so stuck in, I'm going to do offline, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they never decided to establish themselves. Excuse me. They never decided to establish themselves on social media. Or online, and then they became a ghost. And I promise you, if you don't do this, it's going to be a certain point. I can't tell you when. I'm not a fortune teller. But it's going to be a certain point that if you don't establish your brand online, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be too hard. You're probably going to quit. You're going to change your business, or something else is going to happen. All right. So get out here, make things happen, and continue to be great. All right. Other than that, make sure that you comment what you need to comment, or you send me a message if you need help with anything, and we go forward from there. All right. Let's continue to make things happen. Let's work.